C.U.T.S. Cradle under the star.
Welcome back to Team C.U.T.S. The Clock Tower series has been through a pretty rocky road over the last few decades. By now it's no secret that the series has made its presence as one of the early pioneers to modern survival horror. There has been a plethora of games over the years by independent developers that are influenced by its run-and-hide adventure-driven gameplay. After the last game, Clock Tower 3 for PlayStation 2, while being a unique take on the series, underperformed to Capcom's eyes, the series lay dormant, only living in the hearts of those that have experienced the series through official or unofficial means. There's been little to no mention about what would come next for Clock Tower. Enter Clock Tower Rewind, a surprise collaborative project between Sunsoft, Capcom, WayForward, and Limited Run Games. Through some sort of supernatural phenomena, a new release in the series is finally upon us, and just in time for Halloween. So you may wonder just as much as we do, is this the revival we had hoped for, or is the Clock Tower series better off lost to time? Backing up a bit for those not to know, Clock Tower released in 1995 for the Super Famicom, then later ported to other platforms like the PlayStation 1. Though the series had seen releases worldwide, the game has never seen a release outside of Japan before now. Yes, Clock Tower for the US is not the first game, it's the sequel to this game. To rid of any further confusion, this is not a remake, nor a remaster, but a modern re-release of this horror cult classic. As lone teenage orphan Jennifer, you must wander the halls of your new home, the Barrows Mansion, home to a giant clock tower in search of your friends who have suddenly gone missing, and for a way out, all while avoiding the relentless Scissor Man, a demented murderer wielding a giant pair of scissors. With no weapons at your disposal, your only methods of survival include running, hiding under a bed or behind a door, or mashing out of frightening panic events that momentarily halt your adventure. It sounds like a story you'd find in a Dario Argento film, and you'd be right to say that. It is a game that takes strong influences from Italian giallo horror cinema. The story itself seems simple at first glance, but the twists you experience as you delve deeper into the secrets of the mansion spark intrigue to see how your characters will navigate. Clock Tower uses a point-and-click system for navigation of your protagonist, as well as taking items and using them wherever your curiosity may take you. The visuals for the game are stunning for a Super Nintendo game, even now. From the sprite work of the many movements your character and the antagonist can perform, to the visually distinct rooms that you find, to the first time you enter a room and steam may fill the air. It's colorful, it's spacious, but isolating and cold. While it is a very quiet game for the most part, with the player's footsteps carrying your ears throughout majority of the adventure, music will strike at the sudden scares in Scissorman's chase, ramping the tension up to 11 and engraving the twisted themes into the corners of your mind, especially when you are met with an unfortunate demise. Another charm to Clock Tower's gameplay is its randomness. No two playthroughs are the same. Items will be in different places, characters may pop out of nowhere, rooms may change orders. The presence of multiple endings can compel one to see their route through and then try to see the story play out in a different way. Just note that key items and puzzles that advance the story can't be interacted with until you've successfully evaded Scissorman. That maniacal monster just loves to cut right into things. The original game, as it released in 1995, is present and left intact aside from the new localization. As legendary as Clock Tower is, the game isn't perfect. There are times where Jennifer can only walk to where you need to, like up or down stairs, and it can slow your adventure down for a good amount of your run. And if you learn the ropes well enough, you can navigate your way through the majority of the game without even seeing Scissorman again. Despite this, the original game shows the capabilities of survival horror on a Super Nintendo effectively and still holds up pretty well. Where Rewind truly shines, however, is the new Rewind version of the game, which adds a ton of quality of life improvements and new unused content in addition to the extra content seen in the PlayStation 1 port of the game. And it is addicting, even to veterans who know the ins and outs of the game. Scissorman's chase pattern is more frequent but still random, and he will chase you from room to room, mimicking his counterpart from Clock Tower 2. This really changes up the gameplay, as whenever you are running or pocketing, Scissorman can really appear at any moment, leaving you on your toes as you focus on your desired route. As well, Jennifer can run up and down stairs, regain her stamina quicker, and encounter some new puzzles and objects, making for some fresh and frightening fun. You even get a new screen telling you which ending you've achieved after beating the game, which wasn't present in the original. The rewind feature is handy, as it can get you out of a pinch if you need it, but for us, we found ourselves barely using it, and at the times we did, we were already too far into a dead end that the rewind window couldn't get us out of a pickle. So we suggest, once you've become an expert at the game, using rewind the moment you realized any mistake you made, as that guarantees more success in giving you a second chance. One big question that's on everyone's mind is, are there mouse and keyboard controls in the Steam version of the game? Yes! Though it doesn't exactly control like, say, the Windows 95 release of Clock Tower, the mouse controls are decently implemented, especially since the original Super Famicom version did not have mouse support at all, and could be a more natural way to play for some. After a ton of fan reception, it's awesome that WayForward listened and delivered, because this game really needed the support of a mouse. Fret not, you can still play the game with a controller, and it's just as fun using one, but if you have the chance, play with mouse. Finally, we come to the bonuses, and if you are a Clock Tower fan, this section is truly a labor of love. Tons of additional content is present, including a very insightful interview with the game's original director, Hifumi Kono, a beautifully animated intro with a hard-hitting theme song featuring Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, and an easy favorite, motion comics, based on comics that were included with the PlayStation 1 port of Clock Tower, now animated with sweeping scores that expand on the themes from the game, and full voiceover.
Oh, poor Jennifer.
The actresses are stellar across the board, and the music really complements the animated panels. In short, it's just so good, and a worthy set of unlockables for sure. Other bonuses are included, like a jukebox menu where you can treat yourself to hours upon hours of tracks from the game, and the new tracks unique to this release, like the hauntingly grand credits song by Emmy Evans, as well as a previously unreleased store demo for the original game, preserved for the public to enjoy. Unfortunately, mouse controls aren't supported for it, but it's perfectly playable with a controller. One area that we did find a bit lacking was the museum. The museum contains tons of scans, from the original Clock Tower box to the manual to the cart, and even the PlayStation 1 fanbook. We were hoping for more to look through, however, like concept art for the animated intro, storyboards, advertisements for the game, and other pieces of media worth calling this segment a museum. Calling it a gallery would be more fitting in our opinion. For our more international audience, the game also offers support for French, Italian, German, Spanish, and Korean, as well as both simplified and traditional Chinese. While we can't advocate for the quality of every single one of these translations, and those we can might suffer from a lack of polish in some parts compared to the very good English translation the game offers, their presence remains very appreciated. Unfortunately, the motion comics and interviews do not benefit from subtitles outside of Japanese and English, so understanding those languages, especially in the case of the interviews, is still required to fully enjoy these bonuses. Part of the non-game menu navigation can also appear a bit rough at first, with no mouse support for navigating these and no clear way of exiting the game from the main menu. Hint, press B or escape on the title screen. But these are minor oddities that are easy to get used to after only a few minutes. Overall, we enjoyed our time with Clock Tower Rewind, and give it 8 Cradles out of 10. We were left a little hungry for more, but given the $19.99 price tag and the amount of content already included, make no mistake, this is the definitive way to experience this horror classic. Don't miss out on officially owning this title. Give it a shot, see how far you survive, share the scares with a friend. Who knows where the series may go from here? If this release is anything to go off of, Clock Tower may have found a new home with WayForward. Thank you for watching our review of Clock Tower Rewind. If you want to see more Clock Tower content, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and consider joining the Clock Tower fan server, The Barrows Mansion. This has been Team C.U.T.S, wishing you a happy Halloween.